Lên đó Mawphlang, ô phốt hôm xưa lăng, luôn có lom lên cao mưa, gam dục là lòng, ô la lên đó là nam ya ka kerten jangka syadu kami India sekapur thei hibarok kowe là nam ya ka kerten jangka syadu kami India sekapur thei hibarok kowe.
Close to almost all large Khasi and Jaintia villages of yore, one finds a forest grove variedly called as Kilau Kintang or sacred forest, Kilau Lingdo priestly forest, or Kilau Adong prohibited forest. These have been preserved since times immemorial and are in sharp contrast to their surrounding grasslands. Located about 25 kilometers southeast of Shillong, the Mawphlang Sacred Grove occupies the southern slope of Ulom Ringkau Mawyong or Mawyong Hill, the highest point of the Mawphlang village, in a saucer shape covering an area of about 76.8 hectares. It is one of the most celebrated groves of the state, which has been largely undisturbed. One will notice that the sacred grove is rimmed by a dense growth of trees which forms a protective hedge, halting the intrusion of the pine, which is present here and there at the edge of the slope. Only after getting into the forest and walking about on the soft cushion of accumulated humus and looking around, one can see that what appeared at first sight to be a somewhat uniform greenery only is really composed of many species with much varied foliage and floral display. There are some very ancient large rhododendron arborea ablaze with the scarlet bouquets of large flowers. The trees inside the forest are heavily loaded with pipers, ferns, and orchids. Some of the branches are bent under the pressure of this accumulated epiphytic growth, and often parts of these fall on the ground. A touch of beauty can also be seen in the overhanging layers of lichens and large, uncoiled lobes of mature fern leaves. Such forests are protected by religious sanctions and are guarded by spiritual guardians known as Kirinkau Kibasa.
We have certain taboos regarding the deities that rested here or stay here in the sacred forest. One is in the form of a leopard and the other is in a snake.
Ndai da jing don jong tau ring kau rabasa kabot uni undan man ka khlemat man ka minet kamut une ude ublay ubaki ong ulabasa unda un kira kena mariang kamut kinu gibreo ladaki digi banasyanong kinong way kinu gibreo sisnya hab kitam ti kisyem kile persya ke kabalam adong kabalam mana hang ni khalaw ketang kamut kajing ma ka abiki.
The Khasis believe that their sylvan deities live inside the sacred grove, and they often offer sacrifices to please these deities. It is a sang or a taboo for anyone to cut any plant or kill animals. They believe that the sylvan deities would be offended if anyone causes any damage to the plants and animals. Even the fallen branches and fruits are not collected from the trees for firewood or for consumption.
To defend these groves, they declared them sacrosanct, you see, with some sort of ceremony. And they would call upon those who would violate this sacredness of the groves, curses, really, terrible curses, sickness and punishment, even on the spot.
The year 1970, the people from Wonjovan, they come and collect the soldiers, they collect firewood, dry woods to the trucks. When they load it in the truck, when they start the truck didn't start, and it shows no sign of starting. And after that, the drivers of the truck become weak, and that is a kind of punishment that the deities punish.
That in the past, really, those who tampered with these sacred groves were punished somehow. I believe that it was through fear. They knew they would be punished, they would do it, and then they got it from the psychological point of view.
Our ancestors had the vision to foresee that with the passage of time, population would grow. There must, therefore, always be sufficient green cover of trees for Mother Earth to maintain the balance of nature in order to provide man with his vital necessities for maintaining life.
From times immemorial, our ancestors understood that two things were absolutely necessary for our well-being and health: environment and water. From experience, they understood that forests and trees are the source of these two elements that they needed, and also their posterity.
The Mawphlang Sacred Grove is an amazing repository of biodiversity and has helped preserve many rare plants like the Taxus baccata, Botrychium lanuginosum, and Helicia nilagira, which are the only wild species available in India.
In our sacred forest, we have this special tree species which we call Taxus baccata. This Taxus baccata is the one which they extract taxol, and they produce this taxol to cure especially breast cancer. So this costs us 1,80,00,000 rupees in Indian money. But we are sorry that the patent right rests with the Americans, because they illicitly buy the leaves from here, they buy the bark from here and send to America for refine. And so also we have so many herbs and so many climbers that are being regarded as medicinal plants.
The Mawphlang Sacred Grove has an amazing life form. It can serve as a gene bank to the ecosystem, and it is a natural living laboratory. Some rare species of frogs have also been discovered inside the forest. These have added to the already unusual wealth of species that can be found here.
We also have slow loris here in our sacred forest. And we have also civet cat, we have flying squirrels, we have fox, we have deers. But the biggest of all animal, I think, is the bucking deer or the fox, because we don't have bigger animals than those which I've mentioned.
Another interesting characteristic is the number of monoliths or tall standing stones that are dotted here and there inside and outside the forest. These were erected in memory of the departed Khasi elders.
So when we enter the forest, we find also monoliths. When you see single monoliths, it is just to demarcate a place. When, especially at the Fifandi, I think I would like to say Fifandi, you see this the lone stone monolith alignment, they call the standing alone. That shows that place is of significance because it's a place of rituals. Since the time of sanctification of the forest, we found out that in our Mawphlang Sacred Grove, we still have only 6 time, because this is the major case.
Ti dai on le nakabantang jiklo duki dai on pasanam. Ti u khasi ji bostat. Halo kita kiki bro khai ubu nagini mau benda kum kata kacing buramiki.
The only example that I know of now, really, a perfect example of a sacred group is that of Mawphlang.
Though we have problems, but we know that by the social fencing or the active participation of the people, by giving them the feedback and information, the guide book, the guide map, and some information of do's and don'ts, I think when we are working together, we know that we can preserve this till the end of the day. Till the end of the day. Okay.
That village really is one of those villages, nay, the only village I would say that I've understood the value of perennial water, perennial, pure, fresh drinking water and fresh air that blows into the village for the benefit of the people at large.